Last Canada Cup #2 action of the day. Screw you. Last Canada Cup #2 action of the day on day #2, and it's the men's 5,000 meters. And if you watched the stream of the Canadian Championships last night and saw a guy named Hamish Black skating, he did 5K yesterday, and he's back to do it again today. Black is in the first quartet that we have on the track. First up, though, international flair Conrad Nagy and Josh White from Hungary and New Zealand, respectively. They're about set to get underway. International caliber athletes. It's a very nice looking dog.
That is Ivany Blondin's dog.
What a friendly looking guy. And then the second pair, as I mentioned, has Hamish Black with Magna Notland of Norway. Clean start in the 5K, and now Leo, fill us in on a good 5K. What'll it look like?
5,000 meters, 12.5 laps. Skaters will attempt to race each lap at approximately the same pace. So if the skaters plan their races appropriately, they will start on a certain lap time and finish on the exact same lap time and leave nothing left out there.
Now, there is Black underway on his second 5,000 meters in as many days. We'll see how it compares yesterday. He clocked in with a 6:43.5.
You see coaches telling their athletes to relax, make sure they set up themselves for success later on in the race. Don't waste any energy early in these beginning laps.
Stride for stride, Notland and Black. We have the cameras on that race right now. And at the moment, Black has the fastest time. Notland 0.08 of a second behind him. Black, student at the University of Victoria, moved to Calgary in 2014 to focus on skating. Didn't start that long ago.
Like any good long distance skater, maybe a little crazy. That's why he's doing a second one in 2 days.
Still holds a bit of an advantage on Notland, the Norwegian. Very close between the two, though.
So we see the early lap times and pace these two are setting themselves up with. Mid to low 31s. Nagy and White settling into the high 31s, low 32s.
Now a little bit of daylight opens up this time around. Let's check the lap times for Black. This time around, 31.24 dips underneath his previous lap. Notland goes a little bit slower, 31.95, so now it's a second gap. As I mentioned, UVic student, former UVic student, Black, originally from Lucknow, Ontario, a little tiny town in the Bruce country, near the Bruce Peninsula.
So we have a look at our international pair, Nagy and White, underway, still in those high 31s, low 32s.
Plenty of experience in a guy like Conrad Nagy, who plenty of international experience, has skated a number of events here yesterday as well.
Exactly. He is well in tune with his body and the requisite strategy for this 5,000 meter. Another lap, another near identical lap time. Very steady race from White and Nagy. They're trading leads. Look at Nagy setting up a bit of a draft.
Hamish Black clocks in 31.31. Notland picking up speed a little bit. 31.17, closing that gap a little bit as we approach the halfway mark. This front pair, Nagy and White, we're past the halfway mark now, coming up to 2,600 meters skated. 31.79, 32.24 the lap time. So staying consistent, which is what you're looking for.
These two pairs doing a very good job of that so far. Hamish Black yesterday skated a 6:40.35 at the Canadian Championships event last night.
And if you're doing a second 5,000 in as many days, how are the legs feeling, I guess, is the biggest question.
I imagine he's not feeling at his freshest. Although maybe the motivation here is to improve upon his time from yesterday.
We'll see how they're doing with 2,000 meters to go in just a few seconds. Black 31.6, Notland 31.8. Black with an advantage of 1.3 seconds on the nose. Nagy, though, is hanging around in this quartet.
Now, in order to skate a better time than yesterday, Hamish Black has to keep his lap times under 31.7.
That one's 31.97, so a little over.
He banked a lot of time early, though. See if he can bring it down again. Crucial point of the race now, with approximately 3 or 4 laps remaining for all skaters out on the ice. This is where the tough gets going. And the going gets tough.
Black comes to the line, 3 to go, 31.47 the lap time.
He brought it down again. Excellent response by Hamish Black, as Nagy and White are starting to fade a little into the high 32s.
See the pained expression on Nagy's face. Certainly feeling this one now. He did a couple races yesterday, does the 5K today. This lap time, 32.45, ticks it down just a little bit. White, though, into the 33s. $31.62, Black still below that 31.7 threshold again.
These guys are in the final portions of the race. 500 meters to go for Conrad Nagy. He is looking at a time just under 6:40 if he can maintain this pace.
Bell lap for Black. Let's see how Black does. 31.71.
And Hamish Black keeping his lap times under 32.
First over the line is going to be Conrad Nagy. He's going to win the pair with Josh White. Let's see what his time is. The lap time slipped a little bit, but at 5,000 meters, Conrad Nagy, 6:45.55. Last lap, 32.46. There goes Josh White. Let's see what Hamish Black is breathing down their necks. Black at the line, 6:37.64.
Wow, Hamish Black, what a race. After skating a 6:40 at 6 p.m. last night, he races to a big personal best in his second 5K in as many days.
High five from the coach. I guess if they were cumulative times in the 5K, if you're doing 2 in 2 days, he'd be pretty happy with going faster in the second day. But
not to mention skating a personal best, fastest time ever.
that was just the warm-up yesterday. Second pair now on the track has the little international flavor as well, as Thomas Mélin of France is in the first pair up against Caleb Muller from Alberta. And then in the second pair, Oliver Lindenskov from Denmark taking on Ontario's Matthew Laxton as the first pair gets away cleanly.
The first pair underway now through the first 200 meters. The goal in the first 200 meters of the 5,000 meter race is to build up to speed without wasting too much energy. You'll see the skaters sometimes do a few straightaway strides in the corner.
At what point in the race are they sort of up to full speed? Because you mentioned how in the 1,000 they want to be up to speed at a certain point. What is it in the 5K?
Typically in the 5K, by the midpoint of the second corner, they should be settling in to their full race pace.
Everyone in the 20 seconds through 200 meters.
Lindenskov setting himself up with a good draft on that backstretch. Lindenskov will be out for redemption here after a big slip in his 1,000 meter this morning. He is a long distance specialist, so expect him to fly here in this 5,000 meter.
Lindenskov in the 31.53 range, similar time as Thomas Mélin on their first full lap. Caleb Muller, though, 31.13.
So Oliver Lindenskov's personal best is a 6:47. He'll want to beat that here. He'll need to average lap times of 32.3 or faster. So far, well ahead of pace.
Just a note, later today we'll have the Canadian Single Distance Championships and long track team selections for the men's and women's 500 meters. That gets started with the ladies at 5 p.m. Mountain. That's 7 Eastern and 4 on the West Coast. That will conclude today's action. Tomorrow, more Canada Cup action with more men's and women's 500 and 1,000 meter races. There's also going to be a mass start. And then in the evening, more Canadian Championships with men's and women's 1,500. So lots of action to take in over the coming days. We'll help guide you through.
Matthew Laxton's personal best is a 6:54. He'll be looking to average faster than 33 seconds per lap.
Both of them looking on track for that right now. Just one Matthew Laxton in the 32 even that last lap.
So you see Caleb Muller going over the top of his pair, Thomas Mélin. Mélin, though, getting a big draft out of it. He can use that to his advantage. Mélin, former short track skater from France, now skating long track and aiming for these long distance races. So these are his bread and butter.
Muller 31.41 the last time round. Mélin 31.8. Now they'll get the crossover in. Comparable lap times, but there is a bit of a gap now with Muller in front, as Laxton and Lindenskov are going to be next to get 2,200 meters. 31.82 for Lindenskov, 32.06 as Lindenskov has a bit of daylight there.
So Mueller ahead of Mélin, but Mélin staying in touch. It's anyone's race at this point. Lindenskov, though, really putting it to Laxton as he comes around with 6 laps to go, halfway through this 5,000 meter race.
It's Lindenskov, 32.25, 32.54 for Laxton, so another nearly 0.2 of an advantage eked out by Lindenskov.
Lindenskov has 2 seconds on Laxton.
Now Muller gaining speed a little bit, up to 31.46. We did see Nagy dip those lap times into the 32s near the end, but Muller gaining up a little bit, 31.5 almost after 3,000 meters on that lap. Just a second back of the time set by Hamish Black.
Muller will be looking to skate under that 6:40 mark. Caleb Muller, as well as along with Hamish Black, racing one day after skating a 5K last night at the Canadian Championships. So 2 5Ks in as many days for Caleb Muller. And yesterday's 5K, oh, it looks like Muller did not skate the 5K yesterday. My mistake.
Through 3,400 meters. Everybody's through that now. Look at Caleb Muller. He's still in the 31s, low 31. He's almost gaining speed now on Hamish Black. Let's see how he does the final results. Black stayed consistent, though, so we'll see how it plays out with just a couple laps to go. But now Muller just riding tempo right now.
So Muller's pulling away from Mélin, he's pulling away from Mélin. And Muller looking for a big personal best for that sub 640 into the 630s.
30, look at that. Hamish Black sweating a little bit with his time. Muller just celebrated a birthday a month ago in December. He turned 19. He turns 20 this December. And if this is a 5K from Caleb Muller, his previous personal best, looking at it, was 6:43.46 set last October. Now he's chasing down Matthew Laxton. And there is the bell.
He's looking strong. Caleb Muller
moves ahead.
Still skating hard. He's looking for that top spot on the leaderboard, looking to beat Hamish Black's 6:37.
Now let's see what there's traffic in front of them though with Laxton. Let's see what Muller can do.
He's going to go around his pair, or the other race on the outside safely by. One lap to go for Lindenskov.
Makes it by. Let's check the time at the line. Muller, 6:36.94. Last lap time, 31.4, 7/10 ahead of Hamish Black. Look at that. 6:43.46, his previous personal best in the 5K. That's 23 seconds.
Amazing time from Caleb Muller. Thomas Milin with a 6:45.27, also skating a personal best, so good race for Thomas Milin.
I confused myself with the extra armband. That was one skater with 1 lap to go, 6 seconds. It's a little bit more manageable, but still pretty good performance, improving by 6 seconds for Caleb Muller.
Lindenskov finishes up with a 6:52.33, Laxton 6:54. But Caleb Muller took that last quad and took the top place on the leaderboard with an amazing 6:36.94.
Just checking, I would have clocked him in at 9th place last night.
Any athlete under 20 years old who skates in the 6:30s, that is an amazing time. He's setting himself up well as he moves forward in his career.
Third quartet now underway. Hubert Marcotte and Joshua Hathaway leading things off. Simon Coots and Jack Dybert will follow.
So our first pair out there now, that's Marcotte and Hathaway, and a false start in the second pair of this quad. Not very often you see that in the 5,000 meter. So it looks like they will try to start again, only a few laps behind the first pair.
Looks like it happened in the women's race. Remember, they waited a lap and then they scooted in and did it, so we'll see if that's the case again.
As Hathaway getting a big draft on his pair, Marcotte.
There's their 200-meter time, 11 hundredths separating them. And after the first full lap, let's check the lap time, 32.36 for Hathaway, 33.74 for Marcotte. So a little daylight opening up for Hathaway.
Expect Hubert Marcotte to smash his personal best here. His previous best time is 7 minutes, 42 seconds. That was skated outdoors. So with fast indoor ice and the way he's been skating this weekend, expect a very fast time.
And some of the times we've seen just today. Coots and Dybert now on the track. They're going to get theirs underway. That one is away cleanly this time.
So Coots and Dybert now, they're on the ice, 12.5 laps to go. They're about 1,000 meters behind the first pair. So keep an eye on those armbands if you want to make sure you're following the right athlete.
I should heed your advice.
It can always be confusing in these quartets where 4 skaters are on the ice at the same time. 2 distinct races, 2 pairs.
Through 1,400 meters. Hathaway, couple second advantage on Marcotte.
So these 2 skaters really trying to ease into this race. Simon Coots looking very relaxed.
Coots, 33.54, almost as fast as Jack Dybert, just 6/100ths of a second. This one is pretty even. There's just 7/100ths separating them at the end of the last lap.
So Coots will be looking to break the 7-minute barrier. In order to do so, he must average faster than 33.2 seconds per lap.
Stride for stride, in unison through 1,000 meters, 1/5 of the way through. Again, almost identical times between these two, only inching out by mere hundredths of a second. If these two can sort of keep it comparable, it's going to be one heck of a finish coming down the stretch.
Hathaway and Marcotte currently in 9th and 10th on the leaderboard through 2,200 meters.
Here comes Hathaway chasing down Simon Coots and Jack Dybert, the pair that started after them.
Hathaway negative splitting into the 31s. So Hathaway finding a second wind here in the middle of the race. See if he can bring it down again.
Already has about a full straightaway lead over Marcotte coming up to get 3,000 meters.
So Hathaway's chasing the time set by Matthew Laxton. Laxton finished up with a final time of 6:54.81.
He just ekes back into the 32s with a 32.26 does Hathaway. Now this one still close. Coots and Dybert, not much separating these two. Breathing down their necks though. Here comes Joshua Hathaway.
Coots and Dybert still on pace for that sub 7-minute mark. Keep an eye on those lap times. They're racing each other neck and neck. And Hathaway's bearing down on them.
Look at that, just 0.4 of a second separating Coots and Dybert as we approach the halfway mark.
Hathaway has 4 to go, 3.5 now. Mike Ireland telling him to stretch it out, keep those strides long. Often skaters in these long distance races, as they get tired, they start to stand up a little bit. Their knee angle goes up.
Hathaway.
Strides get shorter.
Hathaway, 18 years old, so another one of these young kids trying to make a statement at an event here. We just saw it a moment ago with Muller. Now Hathaway watching that and going, I can do that too.
He let it go a little bit. Marcotte's now gaining ground. But Marcotte has lost 9 seconds on his pair. It's probably too little too late from Hubert Marcotte. Let's see if Hathaway can hang on.
Damage control mode now from Hathaway. Dipped into the 33s. Leo, what do you think of his form there? He's going a little side to side there, the upper body.
Yep, starting to sway a little bit. Those shoulders starting to move, a little bit less efficient. Really has to focus in and keep it low as our second pair, Coots and Dybert, still neck and neck.
Marcotte pulled 2 seconds back on Hathaway that lap. Still a long way to go, but at that pace, it'll be a closer finish than what we've seen through most of this race.
Coots doing a great job. Can he keep this next lap time down? And he does, 33.2. He's right on pace for that 7-minute mark.
There's the bell for Hathaway as he comes to get it still in the 34.67. Marcotte also getting the bell. Let's check his lap time, 32.34. So Marcotte leaves it late, getting a couple seconds per lap now, though. Hathaway started strong. He's seen his times dip, but he wants to finish off. You look at the pain expression on his face. Inside 100 meters to go. It looks so far away.
You have to appreciate the ambition. He really went for it in the middle of this race.
Hathaway to the line, skates over 6:56.05, 6:59.30. So Marcotte really closed things up there.
Marcotte just under 7 minutes, en dessous de 7 minutes pour Hubert Marcotte. Belle course pour le jeune Québécois. As Coots and Dybert will come through. Don't forget, they false started, so there are 2 laps remaining for Simon Coots and Jack Dybert.
Identical lap times, 33.92. About a second and a half separating the two.
Coots letting those lap times go a little as Dybert's making a move on the inner lane with 1.5 laps to go.
These guys were neck and neck for so long. Coots breaks out the lead. Dybert's closing it down. Let's see if what we have in store for a grandstand finish in the final 400 meters. There's the bell. Check the lap times. Coots, 34.55, 34.03. So there's half a second back from Dybert.
And this is going to be interesting crossover here as Dybert's coming strong on the inner. But Coots will go over the top of him. Let's see if Dybert can make it around this outer lane as he's going to beat his pair to the corner. He has to skate the outer lane, though.
Coots has been fading. Dybert's been coming on. Let's see what that last lane can do. Coots on the inner, Dybert the outer. Coots has that little advantage. He grabs the thigh, pain on his face. Coots over the line. 7:02:03, 7:03:08. So Coots stops the bleeding just enough to win that pair.
Simon Coots chasing that sub-7-minute mark, just came a little short, but still skated a personal best, 7:02. A low 7:02. You can't complain with any personal best, but I'm sure he was looking for that 6:59.
It's now closer than ever, though, as our next quartet sets to go. All Quebec battle between Antoine Gagnon-Lamarche and William Sauhier. Afterwards is Darius Eschet from Australia against Dawson O'Brien from Alberta.
Deux athlètes du Québec dans cette paire. Ils sont partis dans le premier virage. Le but, c'est de ramasser un petit peu de vitesse sans trop épuiser ses énergies. Et maintenant, ils ont 12 tours à faire. Opening splits, 21s for both Quebec skaters. Their second pair is now underway.
Australians are responsible for my favorite Olympic moment of all time, when Steve Bradbury in the short track speed skating surprised the world when everyone fell in front of him and he skated across the line to win gold medal. He did it in the semifinals where that happened, and it happened to him again in the finals. One of the most exciting races I think I've ever seen, most exciting moments.
An amazing stroke of luck, but you know what they say, you make your own luck, and he did well to first off be at the Olympics, make the semifinals, and then he was in the right position at the right time.
Obviously, the mass start is sort of similar to that short track experience, which will be making its debut in South Korea next month.
See, long track has long been a very pure sport. Time trials for every distance, even though the skaters will skate in pairs or even in quads, as we're seeing now. But really, it's only the time at the end that matters. But that's changing now with the mass start underway. As you mentioned, it will be featured at the Olympics this year. Mass start event with up to 25 skaters on the line. Skaters all over the ice. First one across at the finish line wins. There's pushing, there's shoving. It's very exciting.
Yvonne Blondin, the Canadian on the women's side, one who's done well in that event.
Last year, we had a Canadian male do very well in the mass start. Olivier Jean,
who has some experience in that sort of thing, but on the short track ice.
Former short track Olympic medalist. He won bronze at the World Single Distance Championships last year in the mass start event. And so Canada definitely a medal threat in the mass start in both the men's and ladies events at the Olympics coming up.
That line of conversation, all because Mr. Darius Eschet is on the ice. Keeping things back to the race we have here. All very close pairs right now. This is the pair between Gagnon-Lamarche and Sauhier within 2 seconds of each other.
Gagnon-Lamarche et William Sauhier, leurs deux temps personnels sont dans les hauts 7 minutes. Ces courses étaient dehors, alors ici sur la glace à l'anneau olympique à Calgary, ils devraient battre leur temps.
15e Gagnon-Lamarche au Coupe du Canada numéro 1, Sauhier 19e. Alors très proche entre ces deux patineurs.
Ils sont proches ici aujourd'hui aussi avec 6 tours à faire. C'est Sauhier qui a l'avance. Seulement 2 dixièmes d'une seconde qui les séparent. So very close race between those two Quebecers, as Dawson O'Brien really taking it to Darius Achetti from Australia.
Lap time 33.6 there for O'Brien, putting out a bit of a gap of about 5 seconds over Achetti.
Dawson O'Brien's personal best, 7:13.75. So if he maintains this pace, he is on track for a big personal best. Another 33.
O'Brien's personal best was done in Calgary a little over a year ago. O'Brien, another youngster, turned 18 in November.
So O'Brien right now chasing Hubert Marcotte for 12th position. Marcotte finished up his 5K just under 7 minutes. So the youngster from...
Look at that. Only dropped 0.08 of a second into 33.69.
Youngster from Alberta looking for that sub 7 minute mark. O'Brien still looking strong on that backstretch. Look at those long, powerful, relaxed strides.
See what it's like here. Every time he comes around, you just wonder how much of a dip there's going to be. Last time there wasn't much at all. Is this the kind of sort of upper body you want? He looks pretty stable from my point of view.
He looks good. He let it go a little bit there into the 34s. Crucial lap on this next one if he can bring it down again.
This one is also a close race. Look, similar lap times. These guys are still in the 34s.
Gagnon Lamarche and Soyer have actually brought it down into the 33s.
Stride for stride just about as they cross the line. 2 laps to go, still in the 33s. About a 1/10 of a second, 0.12 separating these two guys.
Alors, Gagnon Lamarche et William Soyer ont accéléré dans les derniers 2 tours. Ils sont maintenant dans les 33 secondes par tour.
34.44 Dawson O'Brien that last lap, slipping a little bit. 35.52 by Achetti.
Side by side, the two Quebec skaters with 1 to go.
Lap times into the 32s for both of them.
32.63, 32.97. Ils accélèrent avec un tour à faire.
Look at that. Soyer almost looking like he's picking up speed, like he's fresh. They both are stride for stride almost. 34.63 O'Brien. The times are slipping a little bit again. It looks like he might finish tops in this quartet. He banked enough time, but this pair, these two, look at this. Down the stretch they come.
Bon bataille jusqu'à la ligne. Marcotte, Gagnon Lamarche et Soyer.
At the limit, 31.81 the last lap, 31.27, 7.09 for these two, 0.08 off. Let's have a look at Dawson O'Brien, see how much he's left in reserve on this last lap. He's coming to the line. He reaches for it. 7.09.72, just hangs on to win the pair, or the quartet.
So Brian taking it out hard, dying a little bit at the end of the race, but he really went for it. Still skated a personal best. Excellent race. Achetti, 7:22.79. As we have a look at our leaderboard, Caleb Muller with a big personal best has the time to beat 6:36.94. I'm not sure anyone else is going to touch that. Hamish Black was right behind him, 6:37. And Magna Notland from Norway rounds off the top 3.
Still a lot of quartet still to come. We're on 5 of 10 now. Just a quick hold here as everything gets sorted. Looks like the skaters are on the track. The first pair will have Eric Orlovsky from BC, John Hrinchak from Manitoba. Orlovsky 32nd in this distance at the first Canada Cup a month ago in Quebec City.
Both skaters wearing their nice red and black oval skin suits. As we have a look at 2 Alberta skaters in their Alberta provincial skin suits starting up behind them. So Orlovsky and Hrinchak opening splits. 20.3, 20.7. The skaters have to be careful that they stay in their lane. Their blades are not allowed to cross the lines down the straightaway. Often the referees will forgive 1 or 2 transgressions, but if it happens consistently, they could be disqualified.
Crossover down the back stretch in our second pair to go. That's Quartet and Peterson off to similar starts.
Orlovsky's personal best, a 7:08.92. He'll be looking to improve that here.
For some of these guys, Leo, who train together, you had obviously experience in these races. If you're racing against a guy you train with, is there any banter when you get back to training of the last race you had together?
It's always an interesting dynamic. As the skaters train together, especially if they are rivals, they will be looking at each other, pushing each other in training. And sure enough, going into those races, often the skaters will make small bets with each other, small wagers. You know, one person has to buy the other one a Coke or something if they win.
Quartet and Peterson. Looks like Quartet pulled out a second on that lap after it being close, as we're a fifth of the way through these races.
Paul Quartet starting in the 33s. His personal best is a 7:17, my mistake. Maybe a little ambitious to start in the 33s, but we'll see if he can maintain that throughout the rest of the race.
Quartet did that personal best in October here in Calgary. Quartet goes 34.38. Peterson 33.71, picking up steam a little bit there.
Look at these guys on the backstretch. Skaters have to be careful that with each stride they stay low. Often you'll see skaters' upper bodies popping up and down. That indicates that as opposed to putting all of their weight and pressure into the ice, they're standing up a little bit and releasing some of that pressure, cheating.
Orlovsky pulling away from Hrinchuk here. They come up to 2,200 meters, just under halfway.
See some good long strides from Eric Orlovsky. Another high 34, so very consistent race from Eric Orlovsky. He's keeping it in those 34s.
Quartet and Peterson will come through next, both comparable last laps. 34.39 from Quartet, 34.07 from Peterson. So that gap drops a little bit more between these two.
Quartet and Peterson trading leads. It's a tight race between them. They're chasing the time set by Dawson O'Brien in 13th. That time was a 7:09.72. Hrinchuk letting that lap time slip a little bit. Eric Orlovsky dipping into the 35s. So crucial point of the race here. Just over halfway through, these skaters have to make sure their lap times come back down.
If you have a slip, Leo, in this middle portion of the race where your focus dips, your lap times dip, how tough is it to rev the engine back up and maybe sort of rally with the final few laps?
It's very difficult. Accelerating takes a lot more energy than simply maintaining speed. Speed skating blades have a lot of glide. There's very little friction where the blade meets the ice, and so once you build speed, it's a lot easier to hang on to it than it is to build it. And so if you let those lap times slip, it takes even more energy to get it back going again.
Quartet and Peterson both still in the 34s. So we enter the final 2 kilometers of their pair. That's the pair you're watching right now. Peterson with the blue armband on the outer. Quartet with yellow on the inner. They're chasing down John Hrinchuk in the pair that started in front of them.
So Paul Quartet and Matej Peterson really putting together a solid race here.
Almost in unison. Look at that.
What a great shot. These two nearly identical through the line. Same stride pattern. Now there's 3 of them on the straightaway. It might be an awkward crossover, but it looks like they navigated it safely. making it past Hrinchuk from the other pair.
Peterson actually looked like he got a little draft behind Quartet before tucking into that lane.
These two now chasing down Eric Orlovsky. See if they can throw down another 34-second lap.
Coming up to the time check, 34-1, ticking down a little bit.
Wow.
Up to 35, though, is Quartet.
Negative split for Matej Peterson.
Orlovsky hanging on to the 36s. Hrinchuk, similar time, a little bit faster that lap as all the skaters are under 3 laps to go.
Peterson, a short track skater, making the switch for this competition. He has never skated a 5,000 meter before. This is uncharted territory for Matej Peterson, as it looks like Hrinchuk has a second win trying to keep up. Peterson down into the 33s. Hrinchuk went from a 38-second lap to a 33-second lap.
Look at Hrinchuk now, head down, though. He's just either gassed or completely gunning for it. He sees that maybe Orlovsky's fading, and it's his chance to overhaul it. It won't take long with the time he's pulling back.
The psychological battle with himself right now for John Hrinchuk with 1 lap remaining.
Quartet 35-1-8. Look at Pedersen, 33-1-6. He's gaining speed as it goes. If this is his first 5K, that's not too bad of a way to finish it.
Not at all. Matej Peterson is looking for under 7 minutes and 10 seconds, all on his own.
He's going to come to the line. They started in the second pair, but he's going to be the first of the quad over the line. Peterson, 7:09.63. Hrinchuk is going to win his pair, 7:31.67.
The late comeback from John Hrinchuk. What a finish. 7:32.94 for Eric Orlovsky, and Paul Coder, 7:17.39. So that's a small personal best for Paul Coder, just eking out his previous PB.
Next quad is ready to go. 6 of 10. First up, Brad Height from Saskatchewan and Jonah Urtebise on the outer lane. Urtebise 22nd in the first Canada Cup. Second pair will be Anders Johnson and Marc-André Doyon. One thing that I did wonder, for these people who skate 2 races in a day, is there a backup skin suit, or is there just one that gets really used up over the course of the day?
There's one skin suit that gets a little sweaty. It gets hung up, hopefully to dry out before the next one. But most of these skaters have one racing suit, which they save for the events, and then they have a training suit, which they use on a day-to-day basis for training. These rubberized suits tend to wear out a little bit over time, so they try and limit their use to only races.
Both pairs now on course.
Brad Height and Jonah Urtebise. Urtebise starting a bit quicker than his pair, trying to get going at a quick pace. Johnson and Doyon following them. So opening lap times for Urtebise, 34-2.
Urtebise turns 20 this year, and a youngster, 19 years old.
Urtebise personal best, a 7 minutes and 21 seconds. He'll be looking to beat that here today. Watch his lap times. He has to skate under 34.7 in order to do that.
Height, meanwhile, this year he turns, let me do the math really quickly. Oh dear, he turned 16 this year. He's only 15 is Brad Height. For those of us over 30, there's a dating kind of moment.
And Brad Height is racing his first ever 5,000 meter this afternoon. Very exciting, a chance to experience this long distance race. It's all a big learning experience for him.
No matter what, personal best time for him today, obviously.
There you go.
Figuring out at this stage where you're going to specialize, obviously. Doing a bit of everything.
Meanwhile, Anders Johnson and Marc-André Doyon coming through with 9 laps remaining. Both skaters, one in the high 35s, the other in the mid 36s.
When it's your first 5,000 meters like this, you have no frame of reference. So how does a kid like Brad Hite approach this?
I'm sure the coach has an idea as to their ability, and they will tell them, okay, aim for a certain lap time. But from there, anything is on the table. If the skater is going too quick, you know, every lap consistently faster than the coach thought they could do, well, then the coach may change their plan halfway through the race. It's an amazing opportunity to race a race for the first time, get a chance to set a brand new benchmark, see what's possible, as all 4 skaters in the same section of the oval right now.
Iltebe's in the 33s right now. He's really the man to beat out of this quartet. It's a little bit jumbled all over the place. This confusion is reigning a little bit.
And it looks like someone has forgotten to change lanes, as Ait and Ertzebis are in the same lane there.
Oh, no.
Oh, dear. It looks like Brad Hite has... Oh, he's still on track, but someone has forgotten to change lanes. We're going to try and figure out who that was.
We'll watch Iltebe's, though. He's the man to beat. 33.54 is his time. He goes past Anders Johnson. 33.85. Iltebe's still on a good clip.
So Ertebis really bringing it down here, this middle portion of the race. He's going for it. When he comes around, he'll have 4 laps to go.
If someone did indeed miss a lane assignment, we had this discussion yesterday about the infamous Sven Kramer moment at the 2010 Olympics in Vancouver that cost him the 10,000 meter gold, where he was directed into the wrong lane.
Even with skating a longer distance, Sven Kramer skated faster than all other skaters, but was disqualified for that mix-up. It's quite the controversy. The best skater in the world missing out on his gold medal.
So as we sort of see this jumble here of people at various stages of the races, Iltebe's now, Leo, the man to watch, just over the 34s this time.
Absolutely. So Jonah Ertzebis is still in the 34s. He's on a monster race here. He's looking for under 7:21. If he maintains this pace, 34s, he will achieve that. It will be close.
Coming up to 2 laps to go. There's Brad Hite again in front of him. Little incentive to chase down, keep that speed up. Use it as a carrot to chase. 2 laps to go into the 35s goes Iltebe's now.
Crucial point of the race for Jonah Ertzebis. He really has to bring it down here if he wants his personal best. Swinging an arm, looking strong. As Johnson and Doyon fairly close in that race, only 3 seconds apart, as Ertzebis laps his pair. 1 lap to go for him. That sweet sound of the bell. Another 35.
One last crossover for him, gets both arms going. Try to keep that momentum, that glide going inside of 200 meters, a grab of the thigh. The pain is there on the legs, on the face.
He has to keep this next lap under 37.
Driving to the line, can he do it? Iltebe's going for a personal best. drives to the line.
And it's a big one, 7:09.99, and a bit of confusion here on the back, or behind him on the track, as our second pair, Johnson and Doyon, have 1 lap to go, passing Brad Height.
Look at the thumbs up there. Ultebis likes it, makes the pain worth it. And these two guys, as Ultebis was skating away, these guys are almost stride for stride in unison. Anders Johnson, Marc-André Doyon.
What a great finish from Jonah Ultebis, his last 4 laps, all in the 35s. And this is Johnson who's going to win this pair by a hair. His final time, 7:38.31.
There's a fist pump, though, from Doyon. He likes his own time as well. As we've discussed, every person here has their own sort of objective.
Both skaters with personal bests. Great races. As Brad Height, all on his own there with 1 lap to go in his first ever 5K. Great learning experience for Brad Height.
Marc-André Doyon, his own PB before this, that 750 was just a few weeks ago, December 22nd here in Calgary. So big jump for him in just a short amount of time.
Absolutely. And Brad Height now on his finishing stretch in his first ever 5K.
At this point in my mind, on your first 5K, questioning life's decisions. Why am I doing 5K? That kind of thing. But I'm sure he's enjoying this, and he'll be back for more.
He'll be happy to just get across the line. But now he has a target. 8:52 is his new personal best, and he will aim to beat that in his next race. So we now move on to our next pair.
Number 7, Caleb Hovey, Noah Bauma, Battle of Ontario leading things off, and then Max Brandt and Garrett Gledhill, Ontario and Manitoba represented in the second pair.
And they are underway now, Hovey and Bauma. Hovey's personal best, a 7:20.
Only 10 hours.
Bauma, 7:30.
10 hours just sitting there doing nothing.
So Noah Bauma with that 7:30, he's going to be looking to skate faster than 35.8 seconds a lap. Hovey's going to be looking for under 35 seconds per lap for a personal best. So keep an eye on those lap times. And Brandt and Gledhill now underway. They're opening 200 meters. 20.9, 21.7. Now Max Brandt, he's looking for a personal best of 7:26. And Garrett Gledhill is looking for a 7:38. So again, look for these skaters to skate in the high 34, low 35 range if they want to be close to their personal best. That's always the goal here whenever you get a chance to skate on the Olympic Oval.
Little slip there from Brandt.
Recovered.
Keeps it right side up. You look at Hovey, 34. He was just into 32s, now down to the 34s.
One of the great things about the 5,000 meters, you can afford a small slip up like that. You have lots of time to recover.
Looks like his stride isn't lost at all. 34.08 from Brandt. That's the fastest lap going into 1,000 meters from these 4 guys.
It's all 4 skaters settling into pace now. Hovey, Bauma, and Brandt in the 34s. Gledhill in the 35s.
Brandt's PB is not that long either, about a month and a half. November 25th set here in Calgary. That's 7:26.98.
A frequent strategy in the 5K is to split the race into 3. First 4 laps, look for easy speed, setting a pace. Legs shouldn't feel tired at that point. The next 4 laps, legs will start to get tired. If you're not careful, you will slow down, so the skaters should look to build speed with every stride. Deliberate focus in the middle section of the race, and then in the final 4 laps, hang on for dear life.
We've discussed this. When the body's screaming, you've said the important thing is technique, and this is where I guess it shines through.
Absolutely. Over these long races, if your technique isn't sound, it really shows at the end of the race.
Now Brandt, 34.94 the last lap time. Boma, 34.16, getting into the low 34s.
So Bauma bringing it down.
Did Brandt perhaps go out a little too quickly, but he ticks down a little bit. Negative splits over the last lap, 34.89. He's just a little bit behind Bauma now.
So Noah Bauma, he's chasing the time of Paul Coder, who finished 15th. Coder wrapped up the race with a 7:17.39. That would be a personal best for Noah Bauma. So Bauma looking to keep on pace.
Just past the halfway mark, that last lap, 34.77. Check what Brandt does, 35.31. As that gap ekes out, Bauma finding his footing in this race as Brandt gets his foot off the gas a little bit.
So Bauma leading his pair. Hovey trying to keep in touch.
Watching Bauma, I just see him, he uses almost a good portion of that lane. When you're going down a stretch like this, what do you want to look like as you're going down that stretch?
A lot of skaters will have a different look and a different stride pattern, but generally the skaters want smooth and efficient side-to-side weight transfer. And sure enough, Noah Bauma doing a good job of that. Skaters want to make sure that their overall direction is heading forwards and not too much all over the track, but Noah Bauma looking nice and efficient with 4 to go.
Into the 35s. That's the pair you're looking at on screen, Noah Bauma and Caleb Hovey. The other pair, Max Brandt and Garrett Gledhill, coming up to 3,400 meters. Let's check the split here. Brandt closed it up a little bit, I believe, the last lap, 34.96. He stays into the 34s.
Excellent lap time from Max Brandt. Good focus and grit in the middle portion of this race. With 4 to go, this is the crucial point of this event.
Bauma comes through. He has 3 to go.
He's doing a good job keeping it in the low 35s. That's what he has to do, and he's going to go as Gledhill will cross over on the backstretch. Bauma's catching up to the other pair now. Maybe a little carrot in front of him, someone to chase.
Bauma can feel the pain emanating off him. Coming up to 2 to go. Let's see how this is. Can he stay in the 35s, maintain that pace? 36.63, so a bit of a drop from him there.
Now, quietly off camera, Max Brandt has kept his race in the 34s.
We'll check his next split. That should be coming momentarily. 35 even, so he's now pulled ahead, has Brandt. They're in separate pairs, but Brandt has that advantage now. 6:08.66 through 4,200 meters.
Brandt still right on pace with Paul Coder, looking for that sub 7:20 finish.
Both arms down from Bauma. Look at that expression on his face. 37.77, he's feeling it. The times are dropping. He just needs to get over 2 times around this lap once more.
Bauma's personal best, 7:30. He's on track to smash that here as he drops both arms on the backstretch. Hovey also trying to pick it up. He's starting to gain a little bit of ground, but it's too little, too late.
Brandt, who's just turned 18 years old in November, still in the 34s, but coming to the line, Noah Bauma. He has seen his times drop off a little bit. Crosses 7:26.22.
That's a personal best for him.
Hovey over the line as well, 7:36.5. There's Brandt He clocks in 7:18.17, 35 seconds even on that last lap.
Impressive race from Max Brandt. The entire thing in the mid to high 34s. Only a couple 35 zeros at the very end. So good consistency showing how it's done. Max Brandt with a big personal best.
As you're a developing skater, is it important to sort of develop this consistent skating and then pick up the pace from there, or do others sort of have the fast start and finish and then just work on the speed all around? How do you develop a long distance skater, I guess is what I'm asking.
Absolutely. That consistency is really key. And a lot of that comes from self-awareness. What does each stride feel like? How tired are you? What pace can you maintain? And these skaters will learn that as they race these long distance races and develop that consistency. And once they can do that, they can start to eke those times down. A lack of consistency means that the skaters are accelerating and decelerating, wasting a lot of energy and not necessarily achieving their potential.
Next quartet, 8 of 10, so we're working our way through here. First one on the track, Cédric Brunet from Quebec and Kevin Assault from Manitoba. And another Manitoba skater is in the next one, AJ Seddon and Kieran Hansen.
Alors, Brunet et Assault, les premiers 200 mètres, temps d'ouverture, 20.5 pour Brunet, 21.4 pour Brunet, 20.5 pour Assault. As our second pair will come through. This is AJ Seddon and Kieran Hansen. Their opening splits both in the 22s. These skaters try to settle into a pace. Le temps personnel de Cédric Brunet, 8 minutes et 6 secondes. Il a patiné ce temps-là dehors à Québec. Donc, ici à Calgary, sur la glace la plus rapide au monde. Il chasse un temps plus vite.
From the looks of things here, just checking Kieran Hansen because I see my familiar Richard Stickle on the track from Fort St. John. That is where Hansen is from. He doesn't have a time in the 5,000, so he's another one of the youngsters born in 2003 doing his first 5,000 meters.
So what an opportunity for him. And he'll be looking to experience a 12.5 lap race. See what it feels like in the legs after skating for that long. AJ Seddon's personal best is in 8 minutes and 12 seconds. So he'll be looking to improve upon that as well. So he and Hansen have a good pairing.
I know in training you obviously do those sorts of distances, but training is completely different than a race in this kind of situation.
Absolutely. Very rarely will skaters race this kind of distance all on their own at full pace. Skaters will often do programs where they race approximately half the distance, so they'll do a 6-lap program at 5,000 meter pace, or they'll do 6-lap programs 3 times with 5 to 6 minute rest in between. But often skaters will also skate long laps, but in groups, in order to share some of the leads and save a bit of energy and work together. As we look, all 4 skaters settling into the 36-second range. Very consistent. It looks like we have some unfortunate news. Matej Peterson, who skated a big personal best in his first ever 5K, disqualified in that last, or in his race. Seems as though he did not change lanes, so he finished in the wrong lane.
But this is the time to make mistakes like that.
Absolutely. He'll make that mistake once, but probably never again. Skaters try to make a habit of it. Every time they exit the corner, immediately switch into the other lane, so there's no doubt about it.
And as it gets down to the end of a 5K, I've asked you this already, but when it's a thing like a lane, which lane, is it easy to forget when you're that tired?
Skaters are rarely of their right mind once they've done 10 laps of a 12.5 lap race. You know, they're running on fumes and they're just trying to get across the line. And so it can sometimes be confusing, which is why it's so important to make a habit of it. Very rarely, except in the case of Sven Kramer, do you see a high-level skater make that kind of mistake.
So in front of his pair into that inner lane. They'll be coming up here soon to get 2,000 meters to go. So long loping strides.
Avec 2000 mètres à faire, Cédric Brunet, son temps 36,89, 38,06 pour Kevin Esso. Donc Brunet chasse son père. Il accélère. AJ Seddon throwing down some good lap times. His last one was a 36.6. On pace for a big personal best if he can maintain this.
Now look at Brunet. He's closed that gap. The big chunk taken out in the last lap, and now Brunet has taken the lead at 3,400 meters, 36.7 the lap time. Esso dips down 38.25, and now Brunet trying to make some daylight, dashing away from Esso. The other two skaters will be coming up to 3,400 meters soon. All pretty comparable times, it must be said. Nobody's in danger of being caught, it seems. Hansen in his first 5,000, the youngster, is getting chased down there a little bit by Brunet.
Cédric Brunet, il accélère 37.0. So good finishing legs from Cédric Brunet, speeding up in the middle portion of this race. AJ Seddon still hanging on to those 36s.
Now there's Kieran Hansen, the youngster, the next target for Brunet.
So Seddon chasing the time set by John Hrinchak in 24th.
And Hrinchak, remember, finished quite quickly the last few laps.
As Seddon comes through another 36. And Brunet keeping it down, 37.01.
2 laps to go for Esso and Brunet. Kieran Hansen, his first 5,000 meters.
Passes him on the inside. Sneaky move there from Cédric Brunet, but he gets by safely. It's the responsibility of the skater passing to make sure they get by safely.
He's coming up to get the bell. Let's see what his lap time is this time around. It barely moves, 37.03.
Et Brunet finit fort avec un tour à faire. Ses derniers 3 ou 4 tours étaient dans les 37 secondes. Voir si il peut faire un 36 ici dans son dernier 400 mètres.
Rounds the final turn. Brunet makes the dash for home now. Inside 100 meters, keeps the one arm going, just wants that tempo to the line. He drives. Let's check the time. Over the line, 7:41.18. Last lap, 36.48.
Here comes Esso to the line. Finishing up 7:49.64.
AJ Seddon wins his pair, crosses time of 7:43.9.
Big personal best for AJ Seddon and Cédric Brunet.
And Kieran Hansen skating the distance he's never done before, likely feeling a pain he's never felt before. Inside a couple hundred meters to go, he's going to wrap things up. 2 arms going. Here comes young Hansen.
Right to the line.
Well done, young man. 8:12.21 the time.
With 2 quartets remaining, Caleb Muller still has the fastest time of the afternoon. That will not be beat. 6:36.94, big personal best in that race.
Now coming up on the track, 2 quartets remain. Antoine Parent from Quebec on the inner, Dade Minert from Saskatchewan on the outer. And then coming up on the next pair, Dylan Knischke and Ian Babalik. Babalik 41st in this distance in Quebec City.
Dade Minert's personal best, 7:51. He'll be looking to improve upon that here today. He has to skate faster than 42 seconds per lap in order to equal or better that.
This is the portion of the Canada Cups where the youngsters really get their chance. Minert will be turning 17 years old in October.
As Knischke and Babulik come through 200 meters. Ian Babulik skated an amazing 1,000 meter with a huge personal best earlier this morning, so I'm sure he'll be looking to follow that up with a PB in this 5K.
First 2 skaters are through 600 meters. You're looking at the pair of Knischke and Babalik. They were the second to go, so they're coming through 600 meters now. That first pair of Parent and Minert has already gone through their time checks. Look at the lap times, 34.47 for Babalik, 36.65. So Babalik with an early tempo that's faster than everybody else. We'll see how he can maintain this over the next long, long while in this race.
He's really settling into a quick pace. Bit of ambition there, it's what you want to see. He's going for it. Has to make sure, even though he's doing these fast times, he has to stay relaxed. Don't forget, he has 10 laps to go. This 5K race is very long. It's the second longest race in long track. The 10,000 meter, twice the distance, is raced at the senior level. Typically, the entry into those 10,000 meter races is very limited given how much time it takes to race them.
We'll only have probably a couple of pairs in the Canadian Championships when that one's run in a couple days.
As Babulik comes through into that inner lane. See where he settles in here. He went 34 seconds a lap, 35 seconds a lap on his last one. Will he keep it down or will it go into the 36s?
Little bit of movement.
Still a nice pace. Knischke settling in really nicely too into the 37s.
So
meanwhile, Dade Minert's in the 36s.
So long as you're not going too far out, I mean, you might be start a little quickly. Are you able to maybe slow it down a little bit and find a tempo that you can maintain without burning yourself out too early?
Absolutely. The key, if you start too fast, is to not just completely shut everything down. It's to ease into a slower pace over a couple laps. And you never know, sometimes if you start too fast, you can actually hold it and you finish the race faster than you intended.
It's sort of like a cyclist who's doing a big climb in the Tour de France where they go out too quickly and then they sort of settle back, find a tempo, and work their way back up kind of thing.
Absolutely. That's exactly it.
Babalik still in the 35.96. That's Knischke, the red armband. Actually, is it yellow? I saw red, I saw yellow. That was Dade Minert crossing 2,200 meters.
So look at Minert settling in the 36s and 37s.
Babalik there still 35.88.
Forget Minert's chasing a 7:51.03. His target average lap time is underneath 37 seconds per lap. So far, he's basically right on pace.
Just past the halfway mark, Dade Minert dips into the 37s. He's 4:02.49 through 2,600 meters. Last lap for Antoine Parent, 39.54. Babalik now dips into the 36s for the first time.
Parent looking like he's in a bit of pain. His upper body's moving around a lot. I saw a hand on his knee in that last corner. He has a long way to go.
Minert coming up to get 3 kilometers. Still looking kind of smooth there. 36.82 for him.
He brought it down. It's what he has to do if he's looking for that personal best. That was a big lap. Let's see if he can follow it up with another one. As Babulik and Kiniski will come through the line. Babulik in the low 36s. He's quietly putting together an amazing race.
Meinert, 36.82. He's going to be the first one around to get 3,400 meters. That's a look at Ian Babulik himself doing a great race into the low 36s. Meinert crosses 36.88, his latest time. Let's see what Babulik can do. He's been around low 36s, high 35s. This one dips just that little bit. Not much lost on that lap for Babulik.
So Ian Babulik currently sitting just behind Eric Orlowski through 3,400 meters. Now, Eric Orlowski, just for reference, he finished his 5,000 meters with a final time of 7:32.94.
Babulik will turn 18 years old in June. 8:13 is his personal best in the 5K. He set it about a year ago. As Babulik now comes up to 3 laps to go. It's 36.55, not much of a drop off there either.
You know what I love about Babulik's straightaway strides is he's really hanging each stride out there. If you watch how he waits to put each foot down every stride, that makes sure that he gets maximum pressure each time he pushes one way and the other.
Coming up to 2 laps to go. Dade Meinert's now comparable times. He's dipped down into the 36.5s.
Negative
Meinert.
splitting.
Here comes Babulik to get another one as well. That's a look at Kiniski. Babulik 36.43, ticking down a little bit again.
Meanwhile, Dylan Kiniski, he's looking for a personal best. His best time ever is an 8:24.
There is Meinert. As is Meinert. He gets the bell. Let's see if he's maintaining that 36 lap pace. Coming over the line, 36.64. Meinert really finding a groove down the stretch, maintaining that speed.
Looking for a personal best. Babulik and Kiniski now with 1 to go.
Babulik goes now slower than Meinert a little bit, 36.79, but still in that ballpark of not really losing too much time a lap.
Now Dylan Kiniski, we haven't talked much about him, but he's on pace for a personal best as he brings that lap down with 1 to go.
Here is Meinert, 2 arms going. He's driving to the line. He still looks pretty fresh. Meinert, time of 7:41.79. He got into the 35s that last lap. And there's the pain etched on Babulik's face. He sees a fastest time for himself over the line. Lap time 36.18, 7:34.24. That's whopping over his old personal best.
What a race from Ian Babulik. Nice and consistent right across the board as Kiniski and Parent will come to the line. Dylan Kiniski, he will skate a personal best time of 7:52.34. Antoine Parent, son temps final, 8:12.75.
Look at Babulik. His previous time was 8:13, and he finished in the 7:35 ballpark. So it's not just getting into a new minute for him. He almost got into the 7:30s.
Absolutely. Aussi une belle course pour Antoine Parent, son temps final 8:12. C'est presque 30 secondes plus vite que son temps auparavant.
Final quartet ready to go. Nicholas Guliov from BC. Caden Witkowski from Alberta. Jordan Stevenson all by himself in behind them from Saskatchewan. They are underway. Stevenson just about set to go.
So Nicholas Guliov, he has never raced a 5,000 meter before, so this is an amazing opportunity for him to set a benchmark. Caden Witkowski, his personal best in this event is an 8:11. 8 minutes and 11 seconds.
Look at that. Everybody within 3/100ths of a second through 200 meters.
Jordan Stevenson, he's looking for a personal best. His PB is actually a 7:31.76. That's quite quick.
Comfortable as you like. Similar, almost identical lap times. I always love when you see those tiny splits between the two.
You always want to see a well-matched pair. Makes for exciting racing.
Stevenson not far back himself.
So Stevenson, to skate a personal best, he will need to skate under 36 seconds a lap average. So he's right on pace right now, but he's got to watch out, maybe even pick it up a little.
Guliov and Witkowski through 1,000 meters. Guliov out of Fort St. John. We've talked about it a few times. It's going to host Canada Cup number 3. It is the only other indoor oval in Canada. It's on the second floor of the Pomeroy Sports Center there in the energetic city, beneath a walking track and above some hockey rinks.
And what a beautiful facility that is. What an opportunity for Canadian athletes to train and to race at a different indoor facility. The Calgary Olympic Oval is an amazing world-class ice surface, but skaters get tired of it a little, competition after competition.
Need a change of pace, change of venue.
It's also good for development to see different ice and feel a different track. If you skate at the same place every time, it doesn't really build the most varied abilities.
Skaters coming up to 1,800 meters. Stevenson, who's in the pair and behind all by himself, has the fastest time so far. Just a nice tempo right now from some young skaters, Guliov and Witkowski.
These two guys keeping pace with each other. Another lap within just a few tenths of a second. And it looks like in the outer lane, Witkowski will set up a big draft, or he may just go right over the top of his pair, and he does that clean backstretch. Good job from both skaters. And Jordan Stevenson off camera putting together a very good race in the 36s.
.37.55 lap time as Witkowski builds a bit of a lead there over Guliov. 38.86, 36.96 in behind there. Jordan Stevenson, he's going to start thinking about maybe chasing these two guys down.
Stevenson starting, he can see the pair ahead of him down the straightaway, and oh, looks like he almost slipped and went down just in the corner of your screen there. But he's back on his feet. His lap times have slipped a little. Last one was his first one in the 37s. Can he bring it back down?
Through 2,600 meters, lap time for Witkowski, 38.77, 39.51 for Guliov. We're going to wait for Stevenson here just a few seconds. 37 even, so it slipped a little bit more. Still closing the gap with these guys in front of him, though.
Absolutely. Jordan Stevenson will help him a lot to see that pair ahead of him. Quartet means 2 pairs of races are on the ice at the same time. They start them staggered, so one race starts when the other skaters are about halfway around the rink, but occasionally one pair will catch the other pair. Makes for some interesting scenarios.
Witkowski through 3 kilometers looking quite smooth as he leads the way in his pair.
5 to go for him.
When it's your first 5,000 like it is for some of these younger guys, is it just a matter of let's not worry about the time, let's focus on keeping that technique, keeping our form well?
Often that's the case. It's very hard to predict where a skater will end up over a long distance like this if they've never done it before. And so a coach will tell them, okay, go out based on feel. Sometimes they'll give them a few lap times as a reference, but typically they ask the skaters to, look for a pace they can carry for 6 or 7 laps and then see if they can hang on after that.
When you haven't done it before, I guess just getting a time as a benchmark is the first step.
Exactly. And just learning how the body feels, learning how the event goes, you know, keeping those legs moving at the end of one of these long races is always a challenge. It takes a certain type of skating and a certain type of grit to do it. Until you've experienced it, you just don't know what that's like.
Caden Witkowski celebrated his 16th birthday in December. Ticked at 39.83. Guliov 40.08. Stevenson right behind now. He's not far behind and looks like he's about to make his move on Guliov.
So this is a crucial lap here for Witkowski and Guliov. They're just hovering around that 40-second mark. Can they keep it right there or even bring it down? At the very end of the race, if you let those lap times slip, you can lose 5 to 6 seconds on your final time very easily.
Stevenson, who's turning 18 years old next month, has now gotten around Guliov. 2 laps to go for all of these skaters.
Wow, negative split from Jordan Stevenson into the 37s. He has found a second wind. With 2 to go, all 3 of them on the track at the same time. And maybe this will wake up Nicholas Guliov, who now has someone in front of him he can chase.
And he is right on his tail.
Guliov has to be careful. He is not allowed to deliberately draft the skater in front of him. So if he catches a second wind, he has to go past the other skater.
Looks like almost he's trying to just sort of stay on the opposite side of Stevenson to stay out of that draft a little bit.
That's right. Maybe he just doesn't want to disturb the skater, but maybe he will go for a move and pass him. Sometimes this happens. It looks like down this backstretch. Guliov coming back on Stevenson. Stevenson now waking up.
He doesn't want to be passed by Guliov as they come down to the finish. He's going to get Witkowski before the line, and now Guliov is going to pass Witkowski as well.
It's a confusing finish here as all 3 skaters going to come across the line at the same time. 5 kilometers under their belt. Stevenson, final time of 7:51.01. Nicholas Guliov, 7:07.06. Witkowski, 7:07.63. But check the final results at oval.ucalgary.ca because the timing system may have been a little mixed up with all 3 skaters crossing at the same time.
It feels like such a long time ago, but there's your top 3. Caleb Muller, 6:36.94. Hamish Black out of BC, 6:37.64 in his second 5,000 in as many days. And Magnan Otland from Norway in 3rd. Coming up in just a few hours, it's going to kick off at 5 o'clock Mountain Time, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. The Canadian Single Distance Championships today, men's and women's 500 meters. Leo and myself will be back to call it. I hope you can join us. We're excited for it. Come back soon, and we will talk to you in just a few hours.